You're like a world-class poker player.
I'm such a brilliant poker player. You don't even know, but I would always go
I
before the
remember.
interviews. I would be like, oh, all these poker players. And I didn't even believe it. I was just saying it so people wouldn't make fun of me and think I thought I was something. I'd be like, oh, there's so much better than me. Oh, I know who the fish at the table is. Fish is the name for the person that everyone's going to try to think. It's like, oh, it's me. It's like, oh, they're professional poker players. I'm just bride of Chucky. So I just started thinking, I'm a really good poker player. Why don't I put it out there? Because everybody else picked up the refrain, like, oh, oh, they're playing with Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to be in that game. And it's like, now I look at myself and I've watched myself play. I'm like, you know what? I'm actually better than a lot of those people that are supposedly like,
yeah.
And I can hold my own with all those people. So why am I the one saying?
Why am I putting myself down?
Right. Yeah.
I feel like I really relate to that actually, because I know that if I like sometimes I guess in my own thinking, like whether I'm making jokes or whatever it might be, I kind of feel like I'm almost like intentionally setting the bar low so that like if I don't really do well, then it's like, well, that's what I was expecting anyway. Or if I go above it, then it's like, oh, well, great. Then I exceeded my expectations. But I know that the problem for that, at least for me, is that sometimes that almost kind of lends itself to like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I on certain levels just keep myself from being able to actually to excel. So like, but it kind of sounds like that's what you were talking about also, Jennifer.
Yeah, Jennifer, it sounds to me as if Matt, like you said earlier, like as queer kids, and we've talked about this on the show, it's like we have to beat everybody to the punch, right?
Absolutely, and as a comedian too, because
and as a comedian too.
Also.
And it sounds like I have friends who grew up as army brats who went from place to place to place to place. I think we had Malin Ackerman on the show, and that's how she was raised, and it was, if I remember correctly, and when you're the new kid constantly, you're always having to read the room. What am I going to have to do to fit in? I'm always the new kid. How am I going to establish rapport? And it sounds like you figured it out, the rubric of it in the 11th grade. It was like, okay, this is the character. This is the persona that works.
I've never heard that word used in a sentence before. I'm so impressed.
Rubric?
I love that. Yes, I know the word, but I've never heard anybody use it.
It's good.
Alec, you're not only hot, you're smart.
Oh, well, listen, more than just a pretty face.
We love Alec.
Yeah.